Hello and welcome to this special broadcast on BloombergQuint as we dissect how each industry is trying to cope with the COVID-19 pandemic. Today we're focusing on what's happening in the power sector now that industrial and commercial activities almost come to a grinding halt. What happens to these companies? Joining me right now on this special discussion is Mr. Praveer Sinha. He's the CEO and Managing Director at Tata Power. Mr. Sinha, thanks very much for taking out the time. I just want to focus on, the demand for one. In Feb, the base power demand increased by 11% year on year. The peak power demand increased by 9.2% year on year. This was also on the back of some revival in the industrial activity. But now March has come in and the full-blown impact of the coronavirus pandemic is being felt across the board. And how has this impacted, how has the deceleration in industrial activity impacted a company like yourself and the industry as a whole?
Thank you, Devina, for having me on the show. First of all, let me tell you that power is the backbone, not only of industrial and commercial activity, but also today when people are at their home and working from home. So because of power that is being provided to all the homes, people can work from home and this option has been provided. And it's a very, very difficult place to work now, especially with the pandemic all over and the scare amongst the people, which includes our employees and contract labor. So I think we need to commend the efforts that is being made by all the people who are working in the power sector. That it's truly outstanding and amazing, the type of work that they are doing. As regards the demand is concerned, the demand has definitely come down. And this we have seen in last 2 weeks that the demand has come down drastically between 25 to 30%, depending upon the day of the week. And this is primarily because the industrial activity, the commercial activity has come to a grinding halt. And till such time the lockdown continues, the demand is not expected to go up. And many of the plants which were operating at full capacity are now operating at the minimum technical load of about 50-55%. So this is a difficult phase the country and the world is going through, and so also the power sector in the country is going through a difficult phase. But I'm sure that once things get back to normal, the demand will increase. Summer period, the demand goes up tremendously, and every year we have seen that the demand in summer months goes up. And hopefully this year also, once things are back to normal, the demand will pick up.
Right. That was going to be my next question. You said you're running at a PLF of 55% in your plants. How much of an increment will that happen if we have a good summer? I mean, till what are you looking to stretch that PLF?
Yeah, if it's back to normal in another month or two, we will be back to the normal capacity, which most of our plants were operating at between 80 to 90%. So we will definitely come back to that level. The peak demand of the country has gone down to something like 100 gigawatt. In typically summer month, it should be in the range of about 180 gigawatts. So there is a huge potential which is there during peak summer. And I think once the industry and the commercial activity starts rolling back after the lockdown, we will see the spurt in demand. And that, I think, should help all these industries and offices to work at full capacity.
Right. So that the point being is, obviously once the lockdown is lifted on the 15th of April, are you expecting like a full swing comeback of industrial and commercial activity, or this is going to be a process which could still take a few more months, the pain of which you will have to bear?
Yeah, it will be on a staggered basis. It is not that 14th night and 15th morning everything will be back to normal. It will stabilize in maybe another 6 to 8 weeks. And that's what we expect, that slowly things will start getting opened up. And the industrial activity, because as you would has seen that a lot of industries and a lot of people have not able to work, and they would like to now catch up with their work, their production, their services. And to that extent, there would be huge amount of interest and intention and desire of people to come back as soon as possible.
Right. So just want to get your sense in terms of which region, if you could give us a breakup of which region and which segment within the industry has been hit the most with regards to power generation.
I think all the large industry, process industry, automobile industry, they are the big consumers of power. And for them to come back and start producing, I think will be important. And over and above that, the ancillary units that they have, the small and medium units which are there, and they are in few lakhs, they will also start working because they need to supply the material for these large plants. So I think generally we will see right across everywhere that the industries will come back and the consumption of power will increase. So whether it is the steel plants, cement plants, aluminum plants, or the automobile industry, textile industry. So there are a whole lot of them where we can see huge amount of consumption should come back once they stabilize.
So is it safe to assume that, okay, Q4 is now gone, Q1 also, because even once the things start to come on stream in a slightly staggered fashion, will not be a quarter of growth, then Q2 of the next year is something that we can probably look at if we have to even talk about growth.
Yeah, the part of Q1 will get impacted because it's already 14th April is the lockdown, and whenever the staggered reopening takes place. So Q1 will be very soft to that extent. But from Q2, I think it should be back to normal and business as usual.
All right, great. Sir, just the other thing, are there any major changes in terms of payment terms? I mean, the Union Power Ministry has issued directive to relax payment security mechanism till 30th May. Has that impacted you in any way?
There are 2-3 things that we need to see. One is that the RBI came up with a policy direction that whatever amount is due, whether it is in interest or principal for 3 months, that is March, April, May, that can be extended and paid. So that is one relief that has come in terms of liquidity of most of the companies. The other is for the power companies, there is a letter that has been written, and it's like a policy direction to CRC, that for CPSUs, they have been given a mandate, or they have been told that they should continue to supply to state discoms, even if there is a delay in payment. Of course, they will, if there is a delay in payment, they will be entitled for the interest cost, which they have said that it should not be the penal interest cost, but the interest cost at which they are getting the loans for working capital. So to that extent, there is some support that has been provided to the discoms, but it's not that they need not pay the money. They will have to pay the money. It's just that the interest rate will be low, and this is only for CPSUs, so it is not for the IPPs and others. Secondly, there is also a proposal with the government that for the generating companies to facilitate them to have better liquidity, if the coal companies and the railways can be paid on staggered basis and with some credit period instead of advance payment, which is being done today. So I think in overall, they're trying to see
will come in when? Clarity of that, whether you've got that extension will come in by when?
It should come, I think, in next few days. The orders are still expected from CRCA and Government of India. So once that happens, it should come in next few days.
But otherwise, how are you on fuel supply and inventory-wise? Is there enough availability and what rates are you acquiring coal at? And do you feel that in such times, transportation can be a big challenge?
I don't think so. In fact, we had a review today also, and we find that we have adequate stock of coal in most of our plants. We are about 25 days to 30 days of coal stock, and we are getting coal. The railway movement of coal is taking place. So every day in our plants, some rakes are coming. Where the road transport is there or rail cum road transport is there has been some delay. But I'm told that again in last 2 days things have improved and people have started trickling down to run these hivas and these bigger coal transportation vehicles. So I think that things will stabilize as we move forward. And stock of coals would be adequate with power plants to operate them.
I'm just trying to understand the worst case scenario from you, Mr. Sinha. If this were to extend itself and say if there is a shortage of fuel supply, is there a possible, and your plant load factors don't pick up, is there a possibility that you may consider shutting down a few plants, or that's not on the table at all?
At least the present indications are not there, but if this prolongs for 6 months or something like that, then one really does not know. But in the present scheme of things, it doesn't look like, at least for next 2 months, we can pull on with the present arrangement.
Okay, just one last question, Mr. Sinha, then. You alluded to it, but I just wanted to directly ask you. So there'll be no issues with regards to working capital requirements at your end, right?
Yeah, we should be able to take care. We have been getting payments till now, so I don't see any reason why we should not continue to get our payments, and that should be able to take care of our working capital requirements. And also, as I mentioned to you, the RBI guideline of deferring the repayment of loan and the interest rate. So we should be able to take care, and till June, we should not have a challenge till then.
All right, Mr. Sinha. It was great chatting with you and getting your perspective on the same. Thank you so much and stay safe, sir.
Thank you, and you too. Thank you. Bye.
All right, that was Mr. Sinha there of Tata Power. So they're good to go for about the next 2 months in terms of their fuel supply as well. Plant load factors are a bit low, but they're expecting summer to be good, and therefore demand for power to pick up. And they're okay to see growth coming back in the second quarter of the next fiscal. Thanks a lot for watching this broadcast.